While many saw Titanfall as a bold new imagining of the multiplayer-inspired sandbox frag shooter like many before it, Battlefield, Star Wars Battlefront, Quake Wars, etc., etc., some, including myself, saw it as just another one with a gimmick like so many are. Yet when I dove into Titanfall, I found a multiplayer map-focused game that had a lot of cool things that made it stand out from the pack. Unfortunately, some poor design choices prevented this game from being a title that would have lasted for years. So many things about Titanfall is amazing, but the things that hurt it really caused it to stumble. Best I can tell, the story, what little there is, has mankind pitted against colonists on other worlds, like we've never seen that before. Unrelated to the conflict, massive machines called Titans are giant mechs that are dropped from space and land in the middle of combat, hence the title, Titanfall. There's not much there, but the story isn't really that important. What is important is how it plays. Titanfall is like most other games of the same genre. You get a collection of maps that you can choose from in several game modes to change the experience with. Capture the flag, team versus teams, and so on and so forth. What makes Titanfall different is the incorporation of Titans and Spectres. After a build-up time, you can call in a Titan. Once it makes its grand entrance, and trust me, it is grand, you have numerous options with it. You can drive said Titan, or you can make it run by itself and fight alongside you, either by following you or guarding an area. You also can jump onto a fellow Titan and shoot from its back, or you can jump onto the back of an enemy Titan and shoot into a control panel, causing it to blow up. It's odd that you can't jump on your own Titan's back, but on the upside, it never gets old entering a Titan due to the numerous different ways you are pulled into the cockpit. The other cool thing about the game are Spectres. Spectres are humanoid robots that will try to end you, but if you can get close enough, you can hack them and turn them to your side. Things are even better with the customization features, with your soldier and Titan. Level up enough and you can mix and match different weapons with Titan chassis, i.e. bodies. While there are only 3 Titan bodies available, each one has its own merits. The small arms are also exciting and diverse, with my favorite being a pistol that can lock onto enemies. It's so much fun. The maps help improve the experience due to how detailed and diverse they are. Some maps offer large open areas, while others offer tall, cramped buildings that have interconnecting windows and walkways. All of this is made better with the mobility in the game. While Titans are clumsy and slow, pilots, what actual players are called in the game, can wall run and perform very, very light parkour or free running, lighter than Assassin's Creed. And I also want to give credit to the developers by making all of their DLC maps free to download. Hint hint, every other game company out there. But not all is perfect with Titanfall, mainly due to the online-only requirement. If the game was exclusively player versus player, it would be understandable as to why the game requires an always online connection to even get into the game. But when every match has bot-controlled specters and human NPC characters in addition to actual human players, it's mind-boggling as to why all of the modes couldn't be played offline. It infuriates me when a game like this doesn't offer AI-controlled bots to play offline. It's far more infuriating when a game does offer bots but still requires you to be online. Perhaps the online requirement wouldn't have been so bad if the game was more open to new players, but unfortunately Titanfall is anything but. Because the game has a steep learning curve for all but one of the game modes, a majority of the modes are full of maxed out players who know the game like the back of their hands. Because of this, I died constantly, even when maxed out players were on my side. Worst of these modes are Capture the Flag, where campers and hacked players run rampant. I also didn't find any matchmaking mechanics that pitted me against players of my level. Not saying it doesn't exist, just that I didn't find it. The poorly named campaign mode gives the illusion that you're fighting against players of your level, but the difficulty is oddly ramped up in this mode as well. Perhaps the only true great mode in the game is Frontier Defense. This mode is simply a horde mode where you and up to 3 other friends must defend a massive harvest store from increasingly different and difficult waves of enemies. It doesn't sound like anything amazing, but when I could communicate with other players on how to survive the AI-controlled waves of enemies and worked from a defending position, setting up turrets, and setting my Titan on guard mode to fill out our numbers, a niche was found. Even better was when me and my friends would work together to hack incoming specters to help defend our harvester with even increasing numbers. I would also like to give credit to Titanfall for its soundtrack. It's pretty good and manages to hit all the right notes at all the right times. A good soundtrack isn't something I normally expect in a multiplayer game. Granted, I don't play that many, so how would I know? I played Titanfall on the Xbox One, and admittedly, while it was a gorgeous game, it kind of felt like it could have easily been played on the Xbox 360. And while I haven't played the 360 version, I have seen video capture of the 360 version. Honestly, I haven't really seen a difference in frame rate or quality. Obviously, there will be a lot more jagged edges than the Xbox One version, but I don't see any real reason why you have to get one over the other. Titanfall had incredible moments, but it also had moments that infuriated me to no end. Perhaps professional multiplayer gamers who live and breathe online gaming can swim in this world, but if you're a casual gamer like me, you might want to rent this before buying, or get the sequel.